Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jamesville-DeWitt Central High School, where we seem to have a rain delay despite there not being a single cloud in the sky. The sprinklers just turned on about 30 seconds ago, and I don't know if anyone knows how to turn them off. So the start of this game might be delayed just a little bit, as the sprinklers are taking over the infield. These teams are ready to go. They turned on as soon as the managers' meeting finished. But in the meantime, hi everybody, Sam Gelfand, the voice of the Red Rams, here for what's looking like our final baseball broadcast of the season. The East Syracuse-Minoa Spartans come in to take on the Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams. Okay, the sprinklers turned off, but they just turned on the other side of the field. Who's in charge of this? Someone's getting fired. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching someone lose their job in real time. And for the first time ever, it's not going to be me. We'll be back with a little bit more details on today's game and this matchup as soon as we figure out who's in charge of the sprinklers and how do we turn it off. Don't go anywhere, exclusively here on JDTV. The rain delay has ended, ladies and gentlemen. The sprinklers have turned off, and we are about to be underway. We're looking at a pitcher's duel here in DeWitt. Starting pitcher for Jamesville-DeWitt today is A.J. Sumida, who has a 2.95 ERA and an even lower fielding independent pitching, which means he's even better than his fielders behind him. A whip of 163, the third most accurate pitcher on the JD roster, getting 58% of pitches in there for a strike. Averages less than 4 pitches per batter, and his opposing batting average, just .211. The Red Rams, a record of 5-6, but they started the season 5-2. They are hoping to snap a 4-game losing streak today. ESM, meanwhile, has just won their first 2 games of the season, both of them against Fulton, so they currently have a record of 2-11. And here's an interesting wrinkle, is that all these statistics from their last game against Syracuse City do not count for Jamesville-DeWitt because, what is that? There is something on this chair and it's sticky and it just got all over my jeans. What a wonderful way to start this game. It's like old gum or something, but their previous game against Syracuse City, which we brought you here on JDTV, is a suspended game due to darkness. So we are underway with a swing and a miss from Kevin Stewart, the catcher. But because it's suspended, the game is never actually finished, which means the statistics do not count until the game is over. So statistically, it's like the last game never happened. And Stewart makes contact for the first time today, 1-2 count on the leadoff hitter for ESM. Stewart has a .457 on-base percentage. No wonder they have him hitting leadoff. As Sumida kicks and deals at the 1-2. And a good eye from Stewart. Coe can't hold on to it, 2-2 count. Thank you so much for joining us here exclusively on JDTV for this matchup, as Stewart hits it high and foul down the first base line. Spring has finally come to DeWitt, as it's 72 degrees outside and there is not a single cloud in the sky. Low, and Stewart is digging himself out of a hole. Full count. In there, strike three. That's how to start off a game. A.J. Sumida with his first punch-out. Now here's Joe Federico. And Federico cannot catch up to the fastball, strike one. Federico with a batting average below 100. He has struggled this season. Makes contact and fouls off the second pitch he sees. The 0-2. Federico staying alive. Federico plays several sports for ESM. We have seen him on JDTV before. Curveball hit right back to Sumida, fields it, throws it cleanly to Kalen, out number 2. And that brings up Trey Bova. First pitch to the lefty, inside, ball 1. The wind threatening to knock down our tent here. That's real precarious. I couldn't even tell if that was a strike or not. Was that a strike? I think it was. Yeah, let's call it one. I saw the umpire raise his hand for something. I was trying to make sure that this tent doesn't collapse on us, as that one is popped up. Can't get to it in time, and it goes off the top of the dugout anyway, so it doesn't matter. So the tent we usually have to give us protection from the sun and to keep our equipment from overheating broke during the game against Syracuse City. It is currently collapsing. We are holding it up with rocks, and this wind is pushing it further backwards and threatening to have it collapse completely. Okay, so the count is 2-2. That was not a strike last time, now we know. Bova hit hard down the third base line, foul. Bova batting .258, .395 on base percentage. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sumida strikes out 2 batters in the first inning. As we head into the bottom of the first, the very last person that the Red Rams wanted to see is on the mound. Here's a quick comparison of how these two teams are doing this season. The Red Rams 5-6 with the asterisk because that game against Syracuse City never quite finished. Spartans with a record of 2-11, and the Spartans are actually doing better in batting average, though not quite in on-base percentage. Here's the issue, a 12.08 ERA as a team for the Spartans, except for the man on the mound. Carter Stewart has an ERA of 1.90, a 1.18 whip as he stares down Matt Sweeney. And his first pitch throwing gas is in there for a strike. Stewart has pitched 23 2/3 innings this season, allowed 12 runs, only 5 of them earned. 6 walks, 21 strikeouts. That's almost a strikeout per inning. And Sweeney hits one up the left field line for a base hit, past the shortstop. And Sweeney is aboard in pretty quick fashion. This brings up Dante Santos. Who, despite having 2 hits in the Syracuse City game, is still only credited as having 2 hits this season because that game technically didn't count yet. Holds off high and inside for ball 1. Pickoff move. Can't get Sweeney. Not yet, at least. He's got a very strong pickoff move to Stewart. And the breaking ball just a little high. Carter Stewart, by the way, as you can probably tell, 6'3", as well as 162 pounds. Prep Baseball Report said because of his size he has, and I quote, obvious projectability. Santos hit well towards right field. And over the head of Prince, he's heading to second, his first extra base of the season as he stands up without a problem. Sweeney moves to third as well. And right now, Carter Stewart in a little bit of trouble as Carter King steps up to bat. Carter King, the most dangerous hitter in DeWitt. High and inside, ball 1. King has an on-base percentage of .548. That's right, almost 6 out of 10 times he comes up to the plate, he will reach first base. So he puts everything behind that swing and has nothing to show for it. You know, I was talking with JD coach Ryan Dara before this game about how Carter King has hit so many baseballs on the ground this season. 80% of his hits have come from ground balls and not fly balls. As Stewart delivers, King on the ground foul. And Coach Dara said because he's really redone his approach this season, whereas he used to swing away at every opportunity last season, and that's why he had 6 home runs. Now, once he gets down to 2 strikes, all he cares about is getting on base. And so he's looking for grounders once he has 2 strikes on him. Before that, he's swinging away. Oh, Carter King hits one high, deep, back to right center field, over the glove of Graham at the warning track. 1 run scores. Santos coming home as well. A 2 RBI double for Carter King. And the Red Rams lead 2-0. And we just heard Graham say, I didn't know where the fence was. He thought that one was out of here, and quite frankly, it had a shot. As Eamon Giblin steps up to the plate after the 2 RBI double by Carter King. And Carter Stewart has missed with the first strike, or has missed his first pitch on all of these batters so far. Away from the catcher, Stewart. 2-0. Yes, we have a Stewart battery today. Kevin Stewart behind the plate, Carter Stewart on the rubber. Are they related? Honestly, I do not know. Be cool if they were. Pickoff move. Got Carter King! Although he changes his mind. The umpire changes his mind. Let's take a look. Honestly, he looked out to me. But that's a pretty borderline call. Carter King is a stolen base threat, second on the team with 7 stolen bases this season, as Stewart finally has a strike to his name in this at-bat. At-bat, by the way, is the freshman Eamon Giblin. Two-one runner on second, no outs. Here it comes. Late tail on the slider, but it's another ball. So Stewart sets up. Full count. Giblin working those pitch counts. That's what you want to do against a pitcher as dangerous as Carter Stewart. And Carter King takes off for third. A bullet of a throw from Kevin Stewart, but he does not get him in time. A walk and a stolen base for Giblin and King, respectively. And that's great small ball, great presence of mind from Carter King. This will prompt a Stewart-to-Stewart mound visit. And bring up the batter, Jake Ogata. Runners at the corner, still no outs. And ESM already down by 2. Ogata pops it up. Infield fly brought down by Stewart. 1 out. So now Tyler Kalin coming up. Kalin been on a hot streak as of late, at least batting-wise. Brought his batting average up by about 100 points over the last few games. Draws the bunt back, but it's of no use. Also, it looks like Giblin got to second. I'm doing 100 things at once, and I totally missed it. That's on me. Kalin fouls it off. As always, I am broadcasting this game and controlling all the graphics you see on the screen and keeping score as well. Nick DeCaney on camera, as usual. Holding it down, doing a great job, and you'll hear him again on the broadcast Thursday for girls lacrosse versus Homer. That's going to be a great contest. You saw the newly minted duo of Nick DeCaney and Mikey Meskos last week against Horseheads. And Kalen swings at one in the dirt. Passed ball gets him at first. Two outs, and Stewart might finally be finding some sort of a groove. Aiden McGuire stepping up. Two runners in scoring position, two outs for McGuire. First pitch in there for a strike. McGuire batting .226 this season. 7 hits, 7 walks, but 13 strikeouts. He is certainly a defensive threat, though. McGuire pops it up foul. And two batters in a row now are down 0-2 against Stewart. The wind still threatening to tear our tent down. And if I think I've got it bad, it's literally the bars are at Nick's eye level. So McGuire chops one right back to Comiso, throws him out at first for 3 outs. The Red Rams, however, put up 2 runs in the first. They're up 2-0 as we head to the second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the top of the second. ESM went down 1-2-3 their first time up. So now here's the 4-5-6 batter, starting with the third baseman, Nick Comiso, who made the last putout. And there's a strike. Sumida hoping to get humming today. Comiso, though, slaps it into right center field. That'll be fielded by Sweeney. Comiso holds up at first. And he has his 6th base hit of the season. Now here's the lefty, Dan Gilkey. Gilkey has an on-base percentage of .594. Batting average-wise, he's the best hitter on this team, which makes you wonder, why is he batting fifth? You'd think you'd want him in batting first or second. That's just me. Pickoff move back to first, no dice. This tent we've erected to protect ourselves and the equipment is doing literally nothing to protect us from the sun. And as the bars of the tent are at Nick DeCaney's eye level, well, if Nick gets decapitated, then we'll finally make the evening news. We've been trying. You know, we've been telling them the whole history of JDTV, hey, you want to use any clips you want from our YouTube channel, go ahead. Put highlights together with our broadcasts. We have no issues with it. It counts 3-0. It may take one of us getting injured to finally get us on the news. Are you willing to do it, Nick? You'll take one for the team? Yeah. You'll literally lose your head?
As long as I'm financially compensated.
Well, Dan Gilkey forces a 4-pitch walk, give or take a couple of pickoff maneuvers. Now it's A.J. Graham, the center fielder. 5 pitches in a row missed by Sumida. And this prompts the mound visit from Coach Dara. JD pitching in general this season has a super low ERA, especially for this level of 3.18, a fielding independent pitching of 3.38, which has increased in the last few games. Some pitchers have had control issues. Relatively accurate, 56% of pitches hit the strike zone, 4 pitches per batter faced, and a batting average against of .216. This season, ESM is batting .209. Everyone resumes their positions. Umpire Pat Baker gets behind the plate. Still a 1-0 count to A.J. Graham. And finally, Sumida has a strike, breaking the ball streak at 5. The Red Rams still hoping to break that losing streak of 4. They face some tough opponents. Had some comebacks that came just short. Graham cannot lay down the bunt. Last game was 2 days ago on Saturday. JD fell to Homer 5-4. Scored 3 runs in the 6th and 7th innings, but it wasn't enough. Graham fouls it. And that's kind of the story with the Red Rams right now, is their pitching has been stellar, but their offense has not been enough to make up for it. As any New York Mets fan in the world will let you know, you can have the best pitching in the world, but you need run support. Am I comparing A.J. Sumida to Jacob deGrom? Not quite. But the principle is there. Swing and a miss from Graham. Go back to the dugout and think about what you've done. That's strikeout number 3 for Sumida. Bringing up Jacob Pacheco, the DH. Cannot hold off on that pitch. Sumida steps off the mound. Gets away from Coe. Runners were going anyway. Stolen base, wild pitch. Let's call it a wild pitch. Really, that's something of a toss-up. But now there's 2 runners in scoring position. And a big swing and a miss from Jacob Pacheco. Pacheco with a .286 on-base percentage despite an average of just .091. Swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts, 2 outs. Luke Liedka comes up to bat now, the first baseman, as Sumida is imposing his will on the ESM Spartans. Finally finds the zone. And hit back to Giblin at second base. They throw out Liedka at first, and that's the end of the top of the second. A.J. Sumida shutting down the Spartans as we head to the bottom of inning number 2. Aaron Coe leads off the bottom of the second for the Red Rams. Carter Stewart had a rocky first inning, to say the least, allowing 3 hits and 2 runs. Though he started bearing down for the last 3 batters, and let's see if he can maintain that momentum against Aaron Coe. Coe immediately hits it into left field, and that goes over the head of Bova. Coe with a stand-up double, his second double of the season. One pitch, one shot to left. And that is the last thing that Carter Stewart wanted to start off this inning, as A.J. Sumida, the pitcher, comes up to bat. Misses high and tight. You know, I said to manager Ryan Dara before this game, I really hope that Carter Stewart isn't on the mound for this one so we can see some fireworks from the Red Rams. He said to me, I hope he is on the mound so we can beat him and we can get better as a team. And that's why he's the manager and I'm not. Stewart stares down his dual opponent. Sumida swings at one well out of the zone. That's the power of a good slider. Carter Stewart actually throws 4 pitches. He has a fastball, a curve, a slider, and a split-finger fastball. Though he does not use the splitter very often. And Sumida lines it up the gap in left field. 2 base hits to start off the second. Aaron Coe advances to third. And now we're back to the top of the order. It's Matt Sweeney. Ball low and outside with runners at the corners. Sweeney's batting .333 with runners in scoring position this season. So he actually bats better with runners in scoring position than he does without. Two fake pickoff moves. Now, that could have been a balk if Stewart had not thrown it to first eventually. That would have been considered a balk. Yes, I had to learn what a balk is. Because let's face it, not even Major League umpires know what a balk is. It turns out a balk is actually one of 12 different possibilities. Just kind of a catch-all term for when a pitcher does something wrong. As Sweeney fouls it off. Here's the easy rule of thumb. When the pitcher steps forward off of the mound, he has to either throw it home to the batter or to one of the bases. If he does not do that, it's a balk. That's the easiest way to look at it. And Sweeney lines it on the ground, and it pops out of the glove of Comiso, but Gilkey recovers. No, he doesn't. It falls out of his glove as well. Coe scores. It's 3-0. That's an error, but credit Sweeney with the RBI. And now here comes a quick mound visit. Technically, that's an E6. So here's Dante Santos. Hit a double his first time up. And now there's 2 runners on and no outs. A familiar position, it seems, for Stewart, only in this game, though. Nice little lazy curve in there for strike 1. I can literally feel my forehead burning. Santos attempts to bunt for a hit, picked up immediately by Kevin Stewart. Are you kidding me? No! A triple play! A triple play! The unassisted putout at first, stepped on the bag, and then throws over to second. Are you kidding me? So caught by Stewart, throws over to first, gets the out there, throws to second, gets the out there before the two runners can tag up. That is a triple play. Ladies and gentlemen, we just witnessed history. And we head to the third. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at this one more time. Here's what happened to end the second inning. Santos bunts, caught by Stewart, throws over to first, gets the out there, gets the runner at second as well before either of them can tag up. I can comfortably say that is the first triple play I have ever seen in my entire life. Never before in my 10-year broadcasting career have I seen a triple play transpire until today. Off the glove of Sumida, and Sweeney will have to scoop it up. And E1 will put Logan Prince on first. And I think most of us are still in shock at what we just saw. There it is just one more time for posterity's sake. And hit up the middle by Stewart. Flips, gets one. Stewart is safe on first. And I hope you got enough of that triple play replay, because we can't get it again now. But there's one out. Double play could not be turned. As Joe Federico is up to the plate. Keeping Stewart honest at first. Stewart, for a catcher, is extremely fast. His 60-yard dash time is 7:08. Catchers are traditionally your slowest runners on the team. But then again, nothing is traditional, nothing is orthodox, not in a game with a triple play in it. And Federico lines one right to Santos, who makes a great catch in left. Stewart has to tag up. Great putout by Dante Santos in left field. That's two outs. Now here's Trey Bova, who struck out his first time up. Runner goes, and Coe does not throw. Stolen base for Kevin Stewart. inside. Not quite as much as Bova suggested, but that's good framing by him. People talk about the framing of catchers, but for a hitter, it's just as important. I mean, the way a hitter reacts to a pitch can really frame an umpire's decision as whether or not it's a ball or a strike, just as much as the catcher's glove placement. Umpire grants time to the hitter Bova. And that's not something we see much at this level, not just calling time, but also stepping well out of the box, too. That's good plate management by Trey Bova. However, it's not great plate discipline as he swings and misses at the fastball. I need like a wet compress for my forehead. Swing and a miss. Bova hits his bat against the dirt as he strikes out twice today. Bottom of the third is upon us, the Red Rams leading 3-0 and hoping to do some more damage. And if anyone can do some damage, it's Carter King, the Red Rams' resident aircraft carrier, because everything that comes across his deck is cleared for takeoff. And he proved me wrong last at-bat where manager Ryan Dara had told me before this game he's looking ground ball when he's got 2 strikes on him, and immediately hit a long fly ball with 2 strikes that landed for a 2 RBI double. He is completely and utterly fooled by that curveball, though. In the dirt and well out of the zone. King has had about 3 games returning from a dislocated finger. So he was out of the lineup for some time for the Red Rams. They sure needed him. Reaches for a pitch he shouldn't have, and frankly, it's a miracle that he got a piece of that one. Should not be happy about that plate discipline, but he can be happy that at least the at-bat continues. But if you can get fooled, Stewart's probably going to try that again. And he does try low in the zone, though this one he holds off for a ball. Next pitch will be a window into Stewart's psychology. You keep hammering the low zone, or do you try to mix it up and go high? He goes high, and it hits King on the bicep. Now, trust me when I say that pretty much will not faze Carter King whatsoever. The dude is the closest thing to the Red Ram Incredible Hulk. I mean, I wish I could show you the footage, but during basketball season, we literally saw him dive headfirst into the bleachers, hit the top of his head on the bleachers, and emerge 100% unharmed as that pitch gets away from Stewart and King snags second. Now Zeman Giblin is up. A hit by pitch and then a wild pitch back-to-back does not do wonders to instill confidence in a pitcher. Strike one to Giblin. Yes, he landed top of his head right on the bottom of the bleachers, diving for a ball, and he got up immediately. Carter King does not feel pain. Honestly, when he dislocated his finger, I bet that he was forced out of the lineup. I bet he would have kept playing, but they were like, no, you have to heal. But he probably didn't feel anything. Probably wasn't any more painful than a paper cut. The 2-1 to Giblin. At the knees, 2-2. And Giblin pokes it past the glove of the jumping first baseman Liedka and into right, though it is foul. Good effort, though. Would have been a very impressive defensive stop had he, actually made the catch. That's the most important part of the formula, though. The 2-2 to Giblin. Popped up, infield, back to Liedka, who redeems himself making the out. One out on the board for the Spartans. Bringing up Jake Ogata, but now the Spartans have to be worrying about Carter Stewart's pitch count. How long will he get to last in this game? Because the Red Rams have been milking these at-bats for all they're worth. I'm just thinking of the word formula. Does anyone else remember the SpongeBob episode where Plankton finally steals the Krabby Patty Secrets formula and it turns out the secret recipe is plankton? Has anyone thought about just how messed up that is? Weakly grounded by Ogata. Stewart fields it with one hand. Throw is high, but they still get the out. However, it does move Carter King to third. Now here's Tyler Kalin. Pitch misses low. And King so far off the bag, he stood no chance. Another base running mishap to end 2 innings in a row for the Red Rams. Nick Comiso leads off the top of the fourth by hitting it right back to Matt Sweeney, who makes the leaping catch. Little hot shot right back to center before anyone can even react, really. One out in quick succession. And as a player, that's pretty much your best case scenario, is just get those outs as quickly as possible as Dan Gilkey lays off the first ball. I mean, when you're in the field or when you're a pitcher, the best case scenario is not an immaculate inning, but a 3-pitch inning. Because an immaculate inning is an incredible feat. 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. But that's still 6 more pitches than necessary to get 3 outs, and you want to preserve your pitch counts as much as possible. Which, here's a little fun baseball trivia fact for you. To my knowledge, the only baseball statistic named after a player is when a pitcher throws less than 100 pitches and gets a complete game. As Gilkey walks. Runner on first, 1 out. So what is the name of the statistic as A.J. Graham is up to bat and cannot lay down the bunt? What is the name of the statistic when a pitcher throws a complete game with less than 100 pitches? It is a Maddox, named after Greg Maddux, the Hall of Fame pitcher. Another bunt pulled back. That one's a strike, except that Gilkey snags second. Sumita steps off the bag and keeps Gilkey honest. Which, by the way, even though I am a diehard Mets fan, Greg Maddux, my favorite pitcher of all time. What a joy to watch work. And the greatest example of the fact that good movement will beat good speed when you're a pitcher any day of the week. Total sword from Graham. 2-2 count. Thought he could have had Gilkey. But it's true. I mean, pitchers, especially young pitchers, they try to throw as hard as possible, try to impress scouts with their speed. But if you can throw junk and you can throw it accurately, nothing is more impressive. Coe doesn't know where that ball goes, and Gilkey advances to third on the wild pitch. Gilkey steals 2 bases on 2 wild pitches in this one at-bat, and Aaron Coe out to talk to Sumita. The Spartans have been shut out before this season, but they sure don't want to do it again. Hit right back to Sumita. Doesn't get Gilkey at third, but it doesn't matter when he gets out number 2. Lightning quick reaction times from A.J. Sumita snagging the comebacker. Jacob Pacheco watches the first pitch go by. He struck out last time up. Man, they've got shade on the infield, but we don't in the outfield. Gets away from Coe. Gilkey's not going anywhere. At least that pitch found the strike zone. Pacheco hits it over the head of Sweeney. Gilkey scores. It's no longer a shutout. Sliding in safe is Jacob Pacheco with the RBI double. And the score is now 3-1. Luke Liedka up to bat. Gets away, and now Pacheco's on third. Could these teams just, give me a moment to fill out my score? Liedka right back to King. But underneath his glove to Santos, another run scores. It's 3-2. King can't get a glove on it. Santos does. But he can't do anything to stop the damage. RBI single for Liedka. Now here's Logan Prince. And Prince grounds it back to Giblin, who has trouble, but he gets him at first. The Spartans put up 2 in the top of the fourth. The Red Rams have a chance to respond. The 6, 7, 8 batters have to make up for the loss of lead as Tyler Kalin immediately whiffs at the first 2 pitches he sees. His last at-bat never finished as Carter King was caught snoozing at third. And now he's behind 0-2. Carter Stewart ready to make him pay. Kalen lines it foul. Stewart only has one strikeout on this day, so that's 22 for him this season. And Tyler Kalen was hoping to eat up to bat instead. He's sent back to the bench eating humble pie. One out as Aiden McGuire steps up to bat. And McGuire lines it into left. Finally finds Bova on 3 bounces, and that's a clean single for Aiden McGuire. That's hit number 8 for him this season. Aaron Coe stepping up to bat. Curveball misses the zone for ball 1. Stewart's been in more trouble in this game than he has been in all season. Keep in mind, his ERA coming into this game was 1.90. Tries to get McGuire at first. He's safe. Is it me or do I hear a woodpecker? Nearly hits Coe. He has to duck out of the way. Yeah, there's definitely a woodpecker somewhere in the vicinity of this ballpark. You think a woodpecker would have a field day at a ball field with all the bats? Come to think of it, imagine how unfortunate it would be if you're a baseball player, right? A woodpecker finds your bats, starts pecking at the top of it, someone finds a hollowed out bat and accuses you of corking. McGuire takes off for second, and he is gunned down without hesitation by Kevin Stewart. It's usually the relievers who we call firemen, but man, Kevin Stewart's got a hose. Coe fouls it off. The 2-2 to Aaron Coe. 3-2 to Aaron Coe. I missed a pitch. Doesn't matter. He walks. Because I'm doing 42 things at once. Now A.J. Samita, the pitcher, will take his turn at bat. He's batting .136 this season. Perfectly placed curveball for strike 1. Gotta give Carter Stewart credit where credit's due. And Samita trying to control the pace of this thing. Gotta use every weapon in your arsenal against a pitcher like Carter Stewart. Catches the low and outside corner of the zone, 0-2. Stewart taking his time, selecting his pitch, and it just barely misses the outside edge of the zone. That had some light movement on it. Sumida swings, misses, and takes us to the fifth. The Red Rams fail to pile anything on. They're still only up by 1. ESM starts off the top of the 5th with the top of the order. Stewart Federico Bova coming up, starting with the catcher Kevin Stewart. He is 0 for 2, reach base on a fielder's choice. Immediately hits it back to King, fires across the diamond and gets the out. With a gun like that, you start to understand why King is also a pitcher. 1 down quickly, it's Joe Federico. And you'd hope that's a good omen, except for the fact that the last time they had 1 out on 1 pitch. Ended up seeing 6 batters that inning. Federico looks at the first ball. And he calls timeout. Sumida has to hold off on the pitch. Surprised that the umpire granted it to him that late in the delivery. Fouls it off. That's the home plate umpire, Pat Baker, loudly shouting, foul, 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 foul. You could remix that. Checking the ball for scuff marks. If a ball is too damaged, it has to be taken out of circulation, because a damaged ball gives a benefit to the pitcher, because the irregular shape will generate more spin. It's essentially akin to doctoring the ball. That's why you see balls get taken out of circulation. If they get too scuffed up, too torn up, then essentially they just become unusable. It becomes unfair. Three and 1 count now to Federico. On the ground, back to King. And he gets both putouts in this inning. Two 5-3s brings up Trey Bova. Bova has struck out swinging twice today, and he expressed a good amount of frustration last time. Fouls it off, barely nicked that one. Is that a bee that is approaching Nick DeCaney, our cameraman? When you said I'm being attacked, I thought that was some reference to me saying you barely nicked that ball. I'm like, what? That's not a slur against people named Nick. But yeah, there are a couple of bees roaming around our broadcast tent, which is collapsing and becoming a lean-to. The occupational hazards we put up with to bring you quality content here on JDTV. They should give me like a plaque at graduation. And Bova hits it to right center. Sweeney calls for it, has plenty of time, and brings it down. Middle of the fifth, we'll be back in a moment. Top of the lineup for the Red Rams here in the bottom of the fifth, as they're hoping to give themselves a much more comfortable lead than just one run. Matt Sweeney will be the first to approach the base. Sweeney reached first on a single in the first inning, then reached first on an E6 in the second. Also got himself an RBI. That curveball just a little outside, 1-1. Sweeney, a spray hitter with almost an even split, as that one is ball 3. He has almost an even split between fly balls and ground balls, and he hits it to all parts of the park, so you really can't anticipate what's coming next with him. which makes him a very dangerous hitter, and now he's got a hitter's count 3-1. Lays off ball 4. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that's Dante Santos' walk-up song. Let me tell you, if I was still playing and if they played the wrong walk-up song, I would go back to the dugout and make them play the right one before I walked out again. But maybe I'm just a prima donna, I don't know. But it's an important thing, your walk-up song. It hypes you up. It's very important. Yellow Jacket is after me as Santos hits it back to the shortstop and beats the throw. Santos has really been lighting up the base pass in the last few games. Now here's Carter King, more dangerous than a Yellow Jacket. And when he's up to bat, about as poorly tempered as a wasp. That bee is in my hair now. I hear it buzzing. I'm already sunburned. Am I going to get a bee sting too today? That's my right ear. It has landed on my glasses. Is it gone?
I don't see it.
All right, it's off my glasses. I don't know where it went. I graduate on Saturday. I can't be having a bee sting as well. King swings at the pitch well in the dirt. Runners can't advance as Kevin Stewart gets to it in time. Ump's got to clean off the plate. You know, some hitters coming to the plate will actually intentionally obscure the plate with dirt in hopes that it'll give them a more favorable strike zone. So a 2-1 to Carter King. Well, outside, runners don't go. Is it me, or does the lettering on the Spartans jerseys look straight out of 1995? You know, it's not the worst thing in the world because that style is back in fashion now, but I swear there's like the same lettering on like the mid-90s Milwaukee Brewers uniforms. Maybe the Rockies. I mean, a lot of teams had that kind of like Times New Roman thing going on as King fouls it off, full count. Florida Marlins had it too. But hey, everything old is new again, and the 90s are hype. Full count, 2-on to King. Carter King hits it into right field. And barely tracking it down is Prince. That was an impressive catch. Though the runners will advance. At least one will. It is not all for naught as there's now runners at the corners. And Prince, impressive, tracking that thing down. Now here's Eamon Giblin. I'm very jealous of everyone on the infield because they have shade right now. Another fake pickoff move to third by Carter Stewart, and he has to be really careful because an umpire may not like that and call that a balk. Gelfand fouls it off. Gelfand on the ground, past the diving Gilkey and into left field. 1 run scores. It's 4-2. Eamon Gelfand with an RBI single. That is his 5th RBI of the season. And Matt Sweeney is the one who scores. Now here's Jake Ogata. The sun is shining directly onto my forehead, so I've spent most of the game holding my hand up to the forehead, hoping I can prevent myself from getting a sunburn. As the wind is now starting to pick up for the first time all day, pickoff move back to second is unsuccessful in its attempt to get Santos. And as always, if there was an award for most valuable dugout, the Red Rams would probably get it. They are so loud, so supportive of their teammates. Stewart stares down Ogata. Misses wide, 3-0. And finally drops it in for strike one. You know, interesting to note, we've done so many baseball games this season, the wind has only ever blown towards right field. I cannot recall a single time where it has blown in a different direction. Ogata hits it to right, using the wind, and right back to Prince. And Dante will advance to third. Gelfand to second. So 2 outs, but the runners moved. Bringing up Tyler Kalin. Two runners in scoring position now. T. Weiler, they call him from the dugout. A little inside, but within the umpire's liking for strike one. The Red Rams have put up 1 in this inning so far. You know they'd like to make it more. But against a pitcher like Carter Stewart, that is no easy feat. Kalin chops it back to Comiso, throws across the diamond, gets the out. And that's 3. The Red Rams get 1. Will that be enough run support? Only one way to find out. The 6th inning is upon us. And it's immediately fouled off for strike 1 by Nick Comiso, who threw it over to first for the last out of the 5th inning. A.J. Sumida still on the mound for the Red Rams. The girls lacrosse team currently warming up for their contest against the Watertown Tornadoes, coming all the way from the north. Comiso swings and misses. Sumida steps off the rubber, asserting his dominance. Comiso had a single in his first at-bat, lined out to center in his second. Sumida completely, utterly misses the zone, and you could see him grimace. I mean, that happens sometimes. Happened to me more than most. But sometimes you get so worried about your pitch grip or where you're going to place it that you just completely forget about your release point. The 2-2. Comiso fouls it off. Hey, we have a bird friend joining us. It's an American robin. I know that because I have 2 of them who live outside of my window. I can't tell them apart, so I call them both bird friend. It's kind of like having a pet, except you don't have to do anything. I feel like bird friend is a good gender-neutral bird name. And that is lined into right field by Comiso for a base hit. Working that count until he finally found one he liked, and it got him on first. Now here's Dan Gilkey. Gilkey has been a consistent thorn in Sumida's side, not just because he walked twice, so he swings and misses there, but also because every base he has gotten today, in addition to the walks, has come off of a wild pitch. So 3 wild pitches he has advanced on, courtesy of Sumida. So he's a heads-up base runner, someone with a good eye, and a consistent thorn in Sumida's side. Prep Baseball Report called Gilkey a pull hitter, someone who can hit some solid line drives, but they spend much more time gushing over his fielding. Gilkey, the shortstop, of course, said he has quick footwork, a smooth glove, and a very accurate arm. Misses 3-1. Gilkey, only 5'8", could be helping him with a smaller strike zone. Fouls off, full count. Gilkey fouls it off and stays alive at the quality at-bat now. There is a second American robin on the field in right center. Swing and a miss, and Gilkey is sent back to the bench. After 2 walks, I suppose it was inevitable. So here's a mound visit. Has Sumida reached his pitch count? Because personally, from this vantage point, I'm not seeing him do anything wrong. I think it just may be a function of how long can he stay out there within the rules. In case you're wondering what day it is today, May 9th is National Sleepover Day. It's also National Bee and Nick DeCaney's Face Day. It is the birthday of two baseball legends, Prince Fielder, who put on an incredible show in the Home Run Derby, and Tony Gwynn, Mr. Padre, one of the greatest contact hitters in the history of the sport. But here's the holiday that I'm most concerned with today. Today is National Lost Sock Memorial Day. Today we pour one out for our fallen comrades, the socks which went into the washer and never emerged. And immediately hit by A.J. Graham into right center field, nearly endangering the bird. Clean base hit. I mean, really, right now, I'm just most concerned about the bird. And A.J. Sumita's day is done. We'll see who the new pitcher is and calculate Sumita's final line right after this, as it looks like Eamon Giblin will take the mound. Eamon Giblin comes onto the mound for the Red Rams, hoping to get an edge on the first batter that he sees, Jacob Pacheco, as he came out to Metalingus by Alterbridge. There are a few people who get that. And Pacheco hits it right back to King. Wow! Carter King with a Gold Glove play. And he's got buns of steel, apparently. I mean, I think he caught it. The runner's on first, Yeah. Yeah, that's an out. Wow. 2 down, and Luke Leitka comes up to bat, but Carter King, what else can you say? A.J. Sumita's final line, by the way, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 3 wild pitches, so a very productive day on the mound. Giblin, the freshman, unloads strike number 2. Giblin with an ERA of 5.25 this season. 8 walks, 5 strikeouts, a whip of 270. The Red Rams feel comfortable putting him on for an inning or two. As Giblin fields it not so cleanly, but just clean enough to get out number 3. No run scores, and we head to the bottom of the 6th. Carter Stewart still on the mound for the Spartans as we head to the bottom of the 6th, and understandably so, as there's a rip right up the left field line by Aiden McGuire. One pitch he sees and finds himself on base. That's his second base hit of the day. Bringing up Aaron Coe. But it's understandable why the Spartans would leave him out here, considering, once again, he has a season ERA of 1.90. The rest of the team has an ERA of 12. So if you can have him go the distance, then why wouldn't you? Aaron Coe hits it to a kneeling Graham, who makes a catch in center field for out number 1. Way to track it down. But it would literally do less damage if Stewart ran out of gas at the end of this game than it would if they put in a reliever. Because that has been the Spartans' downfall this season, pitching. A.J. Sumita up to bat now. Finds the inside part of the zone, 0-2. And Carter King does look a little gassed out there. Got to be wondering about his pitch count. 3-pitch strikeout. And McGuire's safe on first. Aaron Coe goes down on 3 pitches. Did I say Aaron Coe? I meant AJ Sumida. Now here's Matt Sweeney, top of the order again. And McGuire's safe on first. Stewart looking a little tired out there. Sweeney with a softly hit ball to the second baseman, who loses his hat and cannot make the put out at first. They get the fielder's choice, though, and that does end the inning. Joe Federico loses his hat. We head to the seventh. I'm beginning to suspect that Eamon Giblin's a wrestling fan, as he's had two opportunities to have the music when he comes out, and both have been themes of first Edge, then Randy Orton. The Spartans down to their final 3 outs in this one. And the first pitch to Logan Prince is a ball. The Spartans have to score at least 2 when they have their 9-1-2 batters coming up. So this is Logan Prince, who reached base on an error. Right now for the Red Rams, the magic number is 7. That's how many wins you need in order to make the sectional playoffs. They currently sit at 5. Locking this one up will be win number 6, as Prince fouls it off. The Red Rams only have a few games left this season. Matt Sweeney's in the shot.
He looks good, though.
He looks good, but he's in the shot. Not anymore. Felled off to the exact same place by Prince. 2-2 count. Don't you hate it when you get your Sweeney in the shot? The Birds in shallow center field now. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Giblin fans his first of the day. Two outs left for the Spartans. But it's going to be tough to get him. It's Kevin Stewart, who still has a 500-plus on-base percentage. Fouls off the first pitch he sees. Right now, I'm equally entertained by this game and where the Birds are going on the field. I'm a fan of birds. What can I say? The 1-1 from Giblin makes it a 2-1. Stewart lines it right back to Giblin, or that's not Giblin, that's Sumita, because Giblin's on the mound. But Sumita throws him out, 2 outs. So Joe Federico represents the last hope for the Spartans. Misses wide, ball 1. Federico pops it up. Caught by Kalen, and that's all she wrote. The Red Rams win their 6th game of the season, snapping a 4-game losing streak. They take it 4-2 over the East Syracuse-Minoa Spartans. And so this is it, not just for this game, but for baseball on JDTV, unless there's a last-minute sectional game held here. And unfortunately, due to my soon-to-be new position in Tulsa, Oklahoma, this means this is most likely my final baseball broadcast for possibly the next 2 years. And I hate to end this on a sour note, but boy, am I going to miss this sport. I'm going to take us off the air before I start crying. My name is Sam Gelfand, the voice of the Red Rams. Thank you so very much for joining us here live on JDTV for this entire season. And on behalf of everyone here at Jamesville-DeWitt Central High School and Section 3 Athletics, have a very good night wherever you may be.